I take that very much as just these are different ways with different manufacturers. They take the top is all manufacturers right now, so people buys without problems. But pretty much you're sure that each segment is different. Each segment is different. Like I said before, 50 states, 50 experiments. However, there is a big major thing that is the biggest difference. One is with Mamdani's is volunteer army, volunteer army, and also listening to the voters and trying to give the voters what they're looking for. And I think we saw that in a bunch of these cases. So the videos that Mamdani did that were the most impressive to me. Number one was the video that was right after the 2024 election. He went around Trump voters across New York. New York Trump voters, they're in electoral college, they know that their vote doesn't matter, they still voted. And he asked them why, and he looked in, and you could see him actually have conversations with them. Something that we've typically not seen them do. Democrats, in general, seem to want to identify their existing voters and then debate them. Even without the Obama campaign, I think of this before, but they had a list of like anyone, they could buy any cover one for previous 30 days ago. Without saying it's going crazy. They did that. Have these identified people. Mamdani really was like, there's all these other places in Virginia and in New Jersey. They did very similar things, which is that turning out volunteer army is the next part of that. And that was the second part of the impressive Mamdani videos that I saw. Mamdani at one point was preparing for the primary. Stop giving him money. He said, stop giving me money. That's money that he buys. And he did not. And if you do have money, you want to give it to somebody, give it to somebody who else to check it. And we saw that same sort of thing in New Jersey and Virginia, and it's easier, I think, to get a volunteer army at a state level. And it's because they see ISIS in each of these states. And looking at these two governor-elect, they're fucking nutjobs. They just are crazy people. So there is a lot we can read into it. I also think that Dems were more motivated. We saw them because of things like reputation, because of so many different breakups in the federal government. What's happening with SNAP benefits right now, what's happening with health care, what's happening with so many different things that we used to think were natural. Get people at home talk to their neighbors, their community. Going back to 2024, you're trying to do an axe split at a time when the nation felt very fractured. It's still not. Right. And so it's hard to sell to New Jersey. I mean, Kamala did sell to New Jersey and Virginia, obviously those are both blue states. But getting into the swing states of like Georgia's very different than Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's very different than Michigan. Michigan's very different than Nevada. Like what that looks like there. And so I think the biggest thing is making sure that you can speak to each of these states individually and making sure you turn on that volunteer army. Because the volunteer army is how you counteract massive algorithms and media built by billionaires. Okay, so I'm going to bring this next thing at risk of being the wet blanket to your fire. So last night, like people were going, this reaction is going to be, you got Newsom throwing out WWE memes of the left putting a smackdown on the right. But now we have Trump this morning really going all in, saying that Republicans need to nuke. You do what I'm saying. They'll most likely never get people have passed every single thing that
No, bitch! Fuck! You don't understand. My screen went blank.
Obviously, he's not threatening everybody. They posted that picture from it was actually the Westchester Knicks cheat, which is Trump is still your president. Yeah, that image up there. You know, he's been literally shitting on people using AI, all this other different stuff. We have the parts of Congress that are still working, there's very few parts of it, but the parts of it that are still currently working, that's what we have. And that's what it is. But that's the reason why I think it was so important for us to actually have last night.
Fuck!
I mean,
Oh.
but he's saying just now, the thing I have to constantly remind myself about
Does help a good game.
fundamentally
You can dance.
a lazy nation. Fundamentally lazy. I think back a lot to January 6th. January 6th was the last possible date he could dispute the election. He could be all in on that date. He will always come in right at or right behind a deadline. He is never somebody.